Hi everyone, I am Desiree Capila from BSN 2D at University of Rizal System, Taytay Campus. Today, we will be going to discuss about an important topic that affects all of us. It is the biodiversity and the symbiotic relationship between society, science, and nature. Our world is filled with life, from tiny insects to towering trees, from lakes to bustling cities. All of these forms of life are connected, creating a balance that supports the planet and us. In this lecture, we will going to explore what biodiversity really means, how species rely on each other through symbiosis, and also why protecting this balance is crucial for our future. Let's talk about the biodiversity. Biodiversity is the incredible variety of life on Earth. It is everything from the smallest bacteria to the largest species, from lush rainforests to the microscopic organisms in a single drop of water. It exists everywhere, on land, in the air, in our oceans, even inside our own bodies. Biodiversity includes three key levels. It is the genetic diversity, species diversity, and the ecosystem diversity. First, what is genetic diversity? It refers to the variety within a species. Think about how humans all look different, or how we have many breeds of dogs. Even among apples, we have different or hundreds of different types. This diversity helps species survive by allowing them to adapt to changes. Species diversity. It refers to the sheer number of different species on Earth. Scientists estimate there are over 8 million species, though many are yet to be discovered. Every species, no matter how small, plays a role in the ecosystem. The ecosystem diversity. It is the variety of environments on Earth. The coral reefs, rainforests, and a desert all look different. But each of them is a unique system supporting its own web of life. Biodiversity is like a safety net. The more diverse life is, the stronger and more resilient nature becomes. It can recover from disasters, adapt to new challenges, and continue to provide us with essentials like clean air, fresh water, food, and even medicine. But what happens when that diversity starts to disappear? Let's explore how life on Earth isn't just about individual species. It is about the relationship they form with each other. Let's go to the symbiosis. Nature is not just a collection of independent species. It is a vast, interconnected web where everything depends on something else. This relationship is called symbiosis, and it happens everywhere. Between plants, animals, fungi, and even humans. There are three main types of symbiosis: the mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. First is the mutualism. It refers to the both organisms are benefiting each other. A great example is bees and flowers, where bees collect nectar for food, and in doing so, they help pollinate flowers, allowing plants to reproduce. Next is the commensalism. It is one organism that benefits while the other remains unaffected. Think about birds nesting in trees. The bird gains shelter, but the tree is not harmed. The last one is the parasitism. One organism benefits while the other is harmed. For example is the ticks on animals. And also the tapeworms in intestines. These are all parasitic relationships. Even humans rely on symbiosis. The bacteria in our gut helps us digest foods. Farmers and pollinators work together. Without bees, we wouldn't have many of our favorite foods and vegetables. Our world is built on these partnerships, and when they break down, ecosystems suffer. So, how do we understand these relationships and their importance? That is where science comes in. Scientists helps us understand biodiversity by studying how life interacts. By analyzing ecosystems, they uncover patterns and predict how changes, whether natural or human caused. And it affects the balance of nature. Modern technology is helping us learn more than ever. The DNA analysis allows scientists to identify new species and understand genetic diversity. Also, satellites and drones track deforestation, coral reef health, and even wildlife migration. Also, the computer models predict how climate change will impact different ecosystems. Science also plays a role in conservation. Scientists have successfully brought species back from the brink of extinction. But as we learn more, we also see the dangers of losing biodiversity. So, let's look at how biodiversity directly supports human society. Biodiversity is not just about nature. It is about us. Our health, economy, and way of life all depend on the diversity of life around us. Here's how. When it comes to food, our diet depends on biodiversity. Many of our fruits, vegetables, and grains need pollinators like bees and butterflies. A lack of biodiversity in farming can lead to crop failures and food shortages. The medicine. Over 50% of modern medicines come from natural resources. Who knows what future medicines we might discover? Clean air and water. Forests absorb carbon dioxide and filter the air. Wetlands and mangroves clean pollutants from water. And also coral reefs protect shorelines from storms. Economy and jobs. Millions of people rely on nature-based jobs like fishing, farming, and tourism. When ecosystems collapse, livelihoods disappear. But what happens if we lose biodiversity? The loss of biodiversity is not just an environmental issue. It is a crisis that affects food, health, and economies worldwide. Scientists warn that we are experiencing a mass extinction event, largely caused by human activities. Some consequences includes food shortages where monoculture farming makes our food supply vulnerable. A single disease or pest could wipe out a whole crop. Also, the health risks. Destroying ecosystems can increase the spread of diseases. Many viruses, including COVID-19, which originated from wildlife. The economic struggles. When fisheries collapse, when farmlands degrade, when tourism-dependent areas lose their natural beauty, people lose jobs and communities suffer. Climate instability. Forests and oceans absorb carbon dioxide. Destroying them speeds up global warming, leading to extreme weather, droughts, and rising sea levels. Biodiversity and climate change are closely interconnected. As the climate shifts, ecosystems and species are affected. But at the same time, biodiversity plays a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate. What are the impacts of climate change on biodiversity? The rising global temperatures are forcing species to move to new habitats. Warmer ocean temperatures are causing coral bleaching, threatening marine life. More frequent and intense wildfires are destroying ecosystems and displacing species. How do biodiversity helps combat climate change? Forests and oceans act as carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide and reducing greenhouse gas levels. Wetlands store large amounts of carbon, helping to mitigate climate change effects. Restoring natural habitats can enhance ecosystem stability and resilience. So, preserving forests and restoring degraded landscapes to maintain natural carbon storage. Implementing sustainable land use practices to protect habitats and prevent biodiversity loss. Also, reducing carbon emissions to slow the pace of climate change and its impact on ecosystems. But there's still hope. We can take action to protect biodiversity and restore balance. Biodiversity loss is not inevitable. We can make a difference by working in harmony with nature, just like species in a symbiotic relationship. We can protect natural areas, support national parks, marine reserves, and reforestation projects. Adopt sustainable habits like buy locally grown food, reduce plastic waste, and support eco-friendly businesses. Educate and support science. Learning more about biodiversity helps us protect the environment and the biodiversity. Support conservation and research efforts. Let us green our cities. Urban areas can support biodiversity with more green spaces, pollinators, gardens, and sustainable architecture. For generations, many cultures have maintained a deep connection with nature, living in balance with the environment. Indigenous knowledge provides valuable lessons on sustainability and conservation. The traditional ecological knowledge. Indigenous communities have long practiced sustainable ways of managing forests, rivers, and wildlife, ensuring resources are preserved for future generations. The sacred species and landscapes. Many cultures hold certain animals, plants, and natural sites in high regard, protecting them as part of their spiritual and cultural heritage. Scientists and indigenous groups are increasingly working together to restore ecosystems, combining modern research with traditional wisdom for more effective environment protection. To conclude the interdependence of biodiversity, symbiosis, and society, biodiversity and symbiosis are not just scientific terms. They are the fundamental principles that sustain life on Earth, shaping the health of our planet and the well-being of human civilization. The variety of life, from microscopic bacteria to towering rainforests, is not just about numbers. It is about connections. Every species, every ecosystem, and every interaction forms part of an intricate web where balance is key. When this balance is maintained, nature thrives and so do we. But when it is disrupted, the consequences extend far beyond the loss of individual species. Throughout history, biodiversity has provided humanity with everything we need to survive. Plants and animals have been the foundation of our diets, while medicinal compounds from nature have revolutionized healthcare. Coral reefs protect coastal communities from storms. Forests regulate climate by absorbing carbon dioxide, and wetlands filter water, making it safe to drink. Yet, these natural systems do not function in isolation. They rely on symbiotic relationships, partnerships that sustain life. Symbiosis is the glue that holds ecosystems together. In nature, organisms have evolved to support one another in ways that ensure survival. Fungi form underground networks that helps trees share nutrients. Pollinators enable plants to reproduce, supporting entire food chains. Even within our own bodies, bacteria helps digest food and keeps us healthy. However, human activity is changing these natural systems at an unprecedented rate, pushing species to extinction before we even fully understand their roles in the ecosystem. The delicate balance that biodiversity and symbiosis have maintained for millions of years is now under threat. The disruption of natural habitats increases the spread of diseases. These issues are not isolated. They are deeply interconnected, and their impact reaches every corner of the world. Science has given us the tools to understand these challenges and develop solutions. Through genetics and conservation biology, we can track biodiversity loss and identify species at risk. Technology such as satellite imaging and AI modeling helps us predict environmental changes and develop strategies for restoration. And climate science guides us toward more sustainable ways of living. Yet, knowledge alone is not enough. To truly protect biodiversity, we must integrate science into our everyday decisions, policies, and industries. Conservation efforts must go beyond preserving species in isolation. They must restore the relationships that make ecosystems resilient. Ultimately, biodiversity is about more than just protecting plants and animals. It is about safeguarding the systems that sustains all of us. Science provides the knowledge, nature provides the foundation, and our actions determine the outcome. If we embrace a symbiotic approach, one that respects and restores natural balance, we can create a future where both humanity and the natural world thrive together. The question is no longer whether we need biodiversity. It is whether we will act in time to protect it. The fate of our planet and our own future depends on the answer. We are part of nature, not separate from it. Every small action adds up. Our daily decisions makes a huge difference. Minimizing waste, choosing eco-conscious brands, and adopting sustainable habits all contribute to preserving biodiversity. So, what role will you play? Will you be a protector of biodiversity, a voice for conservation, and a protect in nature's balance? Let us build a future where humans and nature thrive together.